Hey all, welcome to my channel. This is Brad from Orders from Headquarters, and if you'd like and subscribe. Anyway, hold on. Yep. Yeah, I can do that. Let me get back to you. Hey, I just got orders in from Headquarters. My wife wants some flowers for out on the deck. She wants them made out of wood. I'm like, for the 4th of July. She said, be creative. This is what we're going to do. Show you in a minute. Here's what I've come up with after my own spin, after looking through hours of YouTube and couldn't find anything I really liked. I decided to go with my own option and go with like a daisy. I figured a blue center, a red center, and a white center would be perfect. The blue center that is shown here is 2.5 inches around. The little ones on the outside are 2 1/8. I could have used them all, but it makes it awful big. I made the flower pot out of cedar wood that I got from scrap, and the base is made out of 5/4 cedar as well. I just rounded off the edge and put a 1/4 inch roundover bit on it and routed the whole thing. I sanded it to 400, and this is what I got. So I'm going to start out by cutting the base, which is a 3-inch piece of cedar that I've cut out of 5/4 board. I got my 3 inches. I'm getting ready to cut. There. Have my 3 inches. Now I'm going to start on the vase part of it. I'm going to take and move my saw to a 10-degree miter. Actually, 5. We're going to go 7. We'll end up with a piece similar to this. I'm also going to take this top 3/4 of an inch off. Now, it gives me a 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to use that for the top of my flower pot. So you'll have something similar to that. Now all I have to do is take that 3/4 piece and cut it in half at the bandsaw. In the middle of the flower pot, I'm going to have to drill me an 1/8 of an inch hole down, and I'm going to use a wooden skewer. I'm going to drill out that 1/8 of an inch, use a wooden skewer, and then I'm going to cut it for length for the flower top. Now with the base being made and the flower pot made, I'm ready to start the flower. The next thing I'm going to have to do is start cutting all of the circles. It'll take 5 of the 2 1/8 and 1 of the 2 1/2. Actually, it'll take 2 of the 1 1/2s because I need 1 for each side. Stand by, we're going to start drilling these. For this material, I'm going to use a 1/2 inch of plywood. I'm going to have to look in my shop and see if I can find some. I know I have some floating around scrap somewhere. Stand by. Meet you back at my drill. And so I found my 1/2 inch piece of plywood. I'm going to end up using my 2 1/8 inch hole saw. And I got to reset my drill. Well, that was an honest mistake. I sat and left. When I cleaned up the shop, I threw away my scrap piece of 2x4 that I needed to have the height for this. So stand by, we're going to drill this. It's going to take a little bit, but bear with me. Man, them spider bits work really good. I am not sponsored by them, but if they want to throw me a bone, I'd be more than appreciative. This spider bits work really well for hole saws. I've never been so impressed with them. Well, there you have your first 2 1/8 inch hole. No hole in the center. I'm liking this. This makes a really nice looking hole. And get that back. Find another scrap piece. Got to make 5 of those little babies. So I will see you when I get done cutting all those. I'd also like to throw a word out there for us to Cedarworks for showing me this stuff called blade coat. This stuff is awesome. We use it all the time on our router bits. I find it great for cleaning off my hole saw. It makes my blade sharper when you're cutting it. I mean, not that I can resharpen it and get a new one, but at the same time they're expensive. So why do it? Use the blade coat. It's cheap. I mean, you have to. It saves me a lot of time sharpening them. I'm got to work for what I get. Thank you. Now, one of the things I want to recommend once you get done using your hole saw is to go ahead and sand those. I usually use 180 grit. Just rub them edges off real good and smooth so that way they'll fit good and tight whenever you go to put them together. It'll work pretty good. Just make sure you use a good sandpaper. I really like that Cubitron. Some of the best sandpaper I've ever been locked onto. I'd also like to thank Cedarworks for showing me that. Cedarworks has taught me a lot about this woodworking thing, and I'd like to throw a bone out to them. I am not sponsored by anybody for this, so I get no kickbacks from it, but I do enjoy these. So if you're liking what you see, I'd like you to hit that like and subscribe button as many times as you can, because I could use the help. And I'd like to also put out there, I really enjoy seeing a lot of you YouTubers out there. I really enjoy watching the Bearded Viking, for one. He really inspired me to do this, other than the other person, my wife, who also inspired me to do this. This was supposed to be a me and my son project, but it ended up just being me, because I don't know, he was supposed to do it for a school project, and I don't know, he just didn't want to do it. And my other boy went on his own, did his own YouTube thing, so I was like, I'm going to try it. Why not? I got nothing to lose. So, now that those are all sanded, I will show you what we're going to do with them. Stand by. Oh yeah, and by the way, your base should look something like this right now. You got your skewer, you got both your top and your base put together. Should come out pretty good. So when you lay out your circles, you should lay them out something similar to that. Take the white 2.5 inch and put over the top. Once you get that completed and something centered up, which I don't have because I'm trying to run the camera, but I will get back to you as soon as I do. But when I do, they're going to be, I'm going to nail them, brad nail them with 3/4 inch or maybe 1 inch, depending on, I think I'm going to go with 3/4 so that way I don't poke through the other side, brad nails. And I'm going to do two of the 2.5 inches just so there'll be one on each side, and when you flip it, it'll show from both sides. It'll come out looking really good. Trust me. There you go, all brad nailed and ready to go. Now all we gotta do is drill a hole in the very bottom circle. Doesn't matter which one. I usually use the ugliest one that I have, just to hide some of the stuff. But I don't make any. I try not to make anything ugly. But man, sometimes it just doesn't help when it chips. So that plywood's kind of brutal sometimes like that. But anyway, we'll drill a hole and put your little rod here through, and we'll be all set.